The 4 books and 5 classics are the authoritative books of Confucianism in China written before 300 BC. 4 books. The 4 books are Chinese classic texts illustrating the core value and belief systems in Confucianism. They were selected by Zhou in the Song dynasty to serve as general introduction to Confucian thought, and they were, in the Ming and Qing dynasties, made the core of the official curriculum for the civil service examinations. There are 5 classics. The 5 classics are 5 pre-Qing Chinese books that form part of the traditional Confucian canon. Several of the texts were already prominent by the Warring States period. Mencius, the leading Confucian scholar of the time, regarded the Spring and Autumn Annals as being equally important as the semi-legendary chronicles of earlier periods. During the Western Han Dynasty, which adopted Confucianism as its official ideology, these texts became part of the state-sponsored curriculum. It was during this period that the texts first began to be considered together as a set collection, and to be called collectively the 5 classics. The 5 classics are: the classic of music is sometimes considered as the 6th classic but was lost in the burning of the books. Up to the Western Han, authors would typically list the classics in the order poems, documents, rituals, changes, spring and autumn. However, from the Eastern Han the default order instead became changes, documents, poems, rituals, spring and autumn. Authorship of the classics. Traditionally, it was thought that Confucius himself had compiled or edited the texts of the 5 classics. The scholar Lao Hsin Chung allows that there are good reasons to believe the Confucian classics took shape in the hands of Confucius, but that nothing can be taken for granted in the matter of the early versions of the classics. Quote, "For the time of the Western Han Dynasty," Zhao continues, "most Confucian scholars believed that Confucius recollected and edited the prior works, thereby fixing the versions of the ancient writings which became the classics." In the 20th century, many Chinese scholars still held to this tradition. The new Confucian scholar Zhang Shili, for instance, held that the 6 classics were the final versions fixed up by Confucius in his old age. Other scholars had and have different views. The Old Text school, for instance, relied on versions found in the Han Dynasty which supposedly survived the Qin Dynasty burning of the books, but many of them held that these works had not been edited by Confucius but survived directly from the Zhou Dynasty, for quite different reasons, mainly having to do with modern textual scholarship. A greater number of 20th-century scholars both in China and in other countries hold that Confucius had nothing to do with editing the classics, much less writing them. Lao Hsin Chung reports that still other scholars hold the pragmatic view that the history of the classics is a long one and that Confucius and his followers, although they did not intend to create a system of classics, contributed to the formation. Quote, "In any case, it is undisputed that for most of the last 2,000 years, Confucius was believed to have either written or edited these classics. The most important events in the textual career of these classics were the adoption of Confucianism as state orthodoxy in the Han Dynasty, which led to the preservation and the renaissance of Confucianism in the Song Dynasty, which led to the being made the basis of Confucian orthodoxy in the imperial examination system in the following dynasties. The Neo-Confucian sage Zhou fixed the texts of the 4 books and wrote commentaries whose new interpretations became accepted as being those of Confucius himself.